any given Tuesday, I go home and I drink 100 proof bourbon until 10 p.m. and then stare at my iPad until 10:30, then go to sleep. That's probably the right way to prime for the next day, right?
Probably not. Probably not.
What are the things that you absolutely want to stay away from the night before?
I would tell you that you don't want to hear this, and the entrepreneurs are not going to want to hear this. But alcohol, I'd stay away from as much as possible if you're trying to prime for the next day.
Yeah.
Right? It just is. It's a neurotoxin. Your brain doesn't process. You don't get into REM sleep. You don't get into the second phase of delta sleep. And so what happens is your brain doesn't get ready to perform the next day. We now know enough. And I'm not the guy who's going to say never have a drink. That's not, I mean, you and I have hung out. Like, that's not true at all.
Right.
But for me, there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
And I'm very good about that time and that place. Right. I used to be the guy that said, it's Wednesday night. It's guys' night. You go to the bar. Yep. It's Wednesday. You got to drink. But as I've learned more, Wednesday's not enough of a reason for me. Mm-hmm. Even going out is not enough of a reason. Even, someone's birthday is not enough of a reason. It's got to be something that I cognitively sit and say, okay, I want to now. And then I make that choice. But I would say if you are priming the evening before, 8 p.m., shut all the technology down. Mm. It's super important to do that.
If you're going to bed when?
About 10.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say 10 o'clock is the normal sleep cycle. People are going to sit and say, entrepreneurs, I lay in bed. I can't go to bed at night. My brain's wired. I get it. That's because of the COMT gene. Because your brain is firing nonstop. It's like you have 100 tabs on in your brain and you're like, I got to do this and this and this and this and this and this. If you're that person, I would tell you, make sure you take all of those things and dump them on a piece of paper and get them out of your head onto paper. One of the most important things I tell people, right? Also, you want a couple supplements you want to add in is like L-theanine. Some melatonin can help you with that. GABA is a tremendously powered neurotransmitter for someone like that. To be able to, got to calm the nervous system down. The whole thing we're looking for, Brad, is what I call neuroflexibility. The ability to go from your sympathetic to parasympathetic easily. Sympathetic to parasympathetic easily. The more you can do that, I don't have any studies to back me up, but I'm going to propose that the longer longevity you'll have.
Interesting. So basically take yourself into or out of state. I mean that if you find yourself in a certain, you said sympathetic to parasympathetic, right?
Sure.
What I heard was if you are finding yourself in a amped up state or a relaxed state, have the ability to pull yourself from one to the other.
Yeah, naturally. Mm-hmm. Not where you even have to do it cognitively, that the body does it on its own.
So you just said naturally, but then we also talked about L-theanine, GABA, melatonin to help you sleep. How do you feel about introducing substances like that to induce sleep or relaxation versus the capacity for your body to do it independently?
I would rather your body can do it independently if you can, but if you can't, then you would definitely using those supplements is better than using it. Before you use any medications or drugs, I would rather use a supplement for sure.
Yeah.
But some people's brains won't calm down, right? And we also got to think about all these lights that we have, all the technology, that all plays into our nervous system too.
Yeah.
We didn't have that before. Right? This has all been the advent in the last 20, 30, 40 years that this has come along. So our systems are overstimulated on a constant basis. So to be able to sit and say, allow it to naturally fall, some people have that ability. I fortunately do. My head hits a pillow, 9:45, I'm done, I'm out, I will see you at 6 a.m. 72% of Americans don't deal with that. 72% of Americans deal with some sort of sleep issue. It could be their brain dysfunction for sure. Could be sleep apnea, could be weight, could be stress. But all of these things come starting, the brain balances all that.
Right. Well, I think that's the underpinning of the conversation is how do you change that? Mm-hmm. And do you change that? So I will say I have historically been a terrible sleeper.
Okay.
And I have come to the point of seeing that there is nothing more detrimental to my day than lack of sleep.
100%.
And so that has brought me to this place of I would rather take a supplement to sedate myself functionally, and supplement or drug, something to fucking knock me out to make sure that I can perform tomorrow than to just struggle through and run the risk of not sleeping. How do you recondition that? Or what's the beginning of rewiring that?
That's
a
great question. I agree with you on all of that. So if we look at the rewiring process, right, your brain is set up into three fragments. I'll simplify it from this standpoint. You have the amygdala, You have the hypothalamus and the prefrontal cortex. Okay, we'll just keep it as those three. The more emotional we are, the more stressed we are, the more we're in our amygdala. The more objective we are as leaders, entrepreneurs, we need our brains to be from the prefrontal cortex. Mm-hmm. The hypothalamus is the link that connects the amygdala to the prefrontal cortex. So the days that you have more stress and you're more focused on the things that are going on in life, good or bad, you're going to be more in your amygdala. That's going to ramp your sympathetic nervous system. That's going to keep you firing more. Mm-hmm. And so your body won't calm down as easily. So the rewiring process, first thing you got to do is you got to isolate what's the things that are causing me the stress, right? Is it happy stress or negative stress? I have a term that I've used. I call it a root experience, because a root experience tells me that something has happened that you think is bad. Most people, when they think of a trauma, they think, oh, this negative thing happened. Well, I've also coined a term called a positive trauma, because something can be super exciting and super good, but also you can't sleep. I'll give you an example, right? Think about it when you're a kid and you're going to, Disney World the next day. You can't go to bed. You're amped up. You're ready to go. That's your dopamine firing away, right? And your dopamine is keeping you awake. Then at night, when you get stressed and you have this bad news or a bad day, that's your epinephrine and norepinephrine keeping you awake. Both of those, all of those are called catecholamines. And those are the stress neurotransmitters. Those are the things that prevent you from actually being able to shut the body down and move into the parasympathetic, whether you're too excited about something or too pissed off about something. Both of them are interconnected. So I would say, first thing you got to understand is that rewire. What is it that's causing you the stress? I'm telling you, there's no power. And I'm not a big journaler, so I'm not into journaling. Just write your emotions, and that's cool at some level, but just write down what's on your mind. If you're an 8-figure entrepreneur, you don't care to journal as much. You're like, okay, I got this to do. I got a lot to do. Mm-hmm. Write it down. Write it down on a piece of paper or on your notebook and get it out of your head. Because if it's here, it's just ruminating. Then once it's out of your head, try going to sleep at that point in time. I bet you're probably going to see a 30 to 50% difference just by doing that simple task.
Yeah, I think that, first of all, I think that just actually doing the things that we have been told that we should do, probably a productive first step.
Probably.
There's a whole litany of things that I'm like, yeah, I know that that's what I'm supposed to do. No screens before bed, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. I want to look at my fucking iPad before I go to sleep. What are the shortcuts? Are there shortcuts to this? So like one, I would look at, melatonin, GABA, L-theanine as shortcuts. Mm-hmm. What are the other shortcuts to make sure that you set yourself up in the morning? And all this, by the way, is this one item that we're talking about, which is sleep.
Yeah.
And there are a million other things to rewire, to reprogram,
for sure,
belief systems that you should address. But from the sleep perspective, what are the other biohacks? Since you are here at the biohacking conference.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone probably knows this. If you don't know this, when you first get up in the morning, get sunlight first thing in your eyes. That first set in your eyes, when you get that sets your body for the circadian rhythm for the day. So it's essentially so important. The first thing in the morning, get that. So the body knows, 14 hours from now, I got to shut this thing down. But if you get up and you're in a dark room and you just stay there and you don't move and then you go out at noon, the body says, now it's sunlight. The circadian rhythm changes because of that. So the first thing, do your duties in the morning and then get outside and put your eyes directly, like with grace, of course, right? Directly in your sun. But I look right at it. I'm like, here you go. I'm looking right at it. And I'm like, squinting away. But I'll do that for about 3-4 minutes. Look away, come back. But I'll do that for 3-4 minutes to set the tone for my sleep. 2, I would tell you, this is super important. Most of your entrepreneurs are already doing this, but I'll say this anyways, is exercise. Entrepreneurs, I'll tell you, we're so good. And I don't put myself in this class. We're so good at making excuses about building our business that we drop our health. And exercise is designed to help you burn off the excess sugar that's in your body. If you're not sleeping at night, it could be because of all this stress and that, but it could be because you have too much sugar in the system and the body's not getting to the point that it can use it up. So when you exercise, you're setting your body up to use the excess sugar so that you actually go to bed at night. 3, don't eat late, right?
What is late?
Any 3 hours before bed, stop eating. If you are training though, I will tell you, having a protein shake or some casein at night before you go to bed is a valuable tool. because what it'll do it'll keep your muscle building during your evening hours.
Casein is milk protein.
Milk protein. If you do that.
Yeah.
Right. If you do that. I don't personally do that. I just do protein isolate at night before I go to bed. Warm shower. Super valuable as well. One of the things I'll tell you, Brad, that I've gotten into, do you know what the Sleep 8 bed is?
Oh yeah, I have one.
I have one too.
Fucking love it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, love it.
It's insane. It has changed the way I sleep.
It's night and day. And actually last night I woke up, I told you this before, but I woke up at 2 a.m. and couldn't sleep. It's my doing. Well, I violated your alcohol rule yesterday.
That's okay. You do it once in a while.
Yes, I do. So I actually got up and got out of bed, and I went and I crashed in my guest room and fucking sweated all night.
Yeah.
Because I was used to being in my bed with a temperature controlled cover.
Right.
And it is night and day for me.
I'll tell you, that's probably the best biohack investment I've ever made.
They're expensive.
They're not cheap.
I can't remember what they are. $2,000-3,000 for a cover over your mattress.
Yeah.
But
the new one, I think it's like $5,000 if you get all the bells and whistles.
Damn. I'll tell you too, though, how do you feel about the metrics that are pulled from that versus any other tracking device?
They say, based on their studies, they're saying it's the most accurate, 99.9% as close to an EKG than anything else.
Crazy.
And I've tracked everything under the sun. Like I would wear a ring, a watch, a band, like everything on my head. Like I'd track to see which one's the most accurate. And I've literally seen which ones are the most accurate, and what people think are the most accurate are not what I've found to be the accurate ones. But I found this thing to be pretty powerful.
Day 8 sleep cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it as a platform in general. Whole thing.
Yeah, I love it. I don't see myself sleeping without it.